And here we are. It is February 11th, the evening session. I've wiped a couple of guys out at this 9-player tournament. I got a 27-player over here. Pretty excited for this evening's run. I recorded earlier today, and I'm probably going to upload those. It's weird. I was happy with the outcome, even though I didn't have a high level of wins. I did make a final table on both and make the money. Did not win very much. Like, it's the sort of thing where, like, I made 50 cents out of 2 tournaments, but it's more about I'm getting a better handle on the game and what's going on. The cards don't always work out, nor will they ever. But I was very happy about that. So here's a problem. I could be losing to 3 of a kind. I don't know. I got, what do you call that? I got timed out over here, unfortunately, but those things happen. I'm just going to flat that. I don't know what this guy is doing. I hit another ace. I'm going to put him in for that. And over here, I'm going to put this guy all in because I'm about to lose those 3 of a kind. The other table, I took it down. And there's his 3 of a kind. Now, how was I supposed to play that differently? I ask you, person here. And this was a $2 27-player tournament, by the way. Did I make a wrong move there? Because I figured that was probably what I was up against, but am I going to let it go? And I will replay that hand just so I can take a look at it myself. And I don't suspect I would have played it any differently. Tons of limps. I just put it all in on this. I don't have anything. I bet 5 times the big blind to get a flat call. 6-8-2. I bet half the pot, they double it. I jam all in. They've only got 825 chips left. They have a pair of 6s. I mean, it's like, it's okay that I lose, but the thing is, like, is there a better way to play that hand? That's what I can't quite figure out. And we're just going to buy into another after we lose here. Though maybe my 7 holds up. And that's how we lose. To 2 and a 5, because that guy wants to gamble. And I made him pay for the flop, but I mean, in position, what do you do? To me, it's just kind of like, well, you lose. Like, there's no, I don't see any consistent defense for that sort of thing. I mean, in my world, I pretty much told him what I had, and he's like, no, I'm going to call. Signed up for another 27 player. We'll see. That may take a long time to get going. Let's do this here. Just is, not much I can say about it. So I would have played it different. Okay. Jam all in, he calls. Same outcome. Am I safer somehow playing it that way? Taking a first in this would offset what I lost from that pair of aces on that 27 player. Again, my bankroll is a little lower than it was by about 20 bucks, but it's just I don't know, just not hitting like the top 3 spots on a lot of tables. But I suspect that can change if I play well and actually catch cards. Sometimes you can't make a hand stand up, and I think that's a normal part of the process. Hmm. Just check that down. Yeah. Getting the other table loaded here. For some reason, it did not load me initially. It had some problem, but we'll pull this up here. Wrong table. Let's go to the other one. There we go. I'll bet this. Does he want to keep going? I will bet. Other table. I will limp. Not super excited, but we'll see if I draw another card. Could get a 2. And if you want a min bet, I have a big air ball. I will fold because I didn't hit anything, and I don't know what you hit or if anything, but I don't think it was worth the chips, and I will rejoin the hand here since apparently I timed out again. As I was resizing tables and doing other. So, okay. I got it unless you got the king. I will flat that. You might have the king, and I'll risk 200 chips on that. Yeah, that might have been an error on my part, but such is life. I can't have it every time. And there we go. Made the money. No, we didn't. We hadn't made the money yet. We got 589 right here to our left. I was premature. I have lost at this point, by the way. I have just gotten completely wiped out many, many times. So I don't want to jinx myself on that front. Announcing that I have won when in fact you were about to lose. Now we're in the money. And my chip stack's pretty good. I think I'll bet this. I guess I'm more hoping for a fold here. Queen Jack is a little difficult to play. And against some aggression with a stack like that, I don't want him jamming against me. Can lose a lot of chips that way. Kind of hope the queen pulls it off. Nope, does not. But I'm heads up. We're about equal. This is going to be interesting. At a bare minimum, I make 270, so it's not too bad. Not the flop I was hoping for. I will not be coming out with some post-flop aggression. I don't have anything on that board. I don't have any interest in that hand. It is not how I'm going to take first place. I'll limp in on this. How's he respond? He flats it, 2 tens. Not particularly beautiful, but let's bet half a pot. How's he do that? Not interested. Here also heads up, like some limp, some 2 times, some 3 times, some, different bet sizing maybe. I found a lot of players for some reason. I haven't been able to figure this out, by the way. They're they play differently when there's other players at a table, and when we get heads up, it's like they get totally soft for some reason that I've never been able to really figure out why. Not that I'm complaining. It's easier to win or take a first when it's like that, but I don't understand their heads up play. It's very unwilling to take a risk. I don't know. It's just weird. It doesn't make sense to me. They didn't really bet. I mean, they bet on the jack, I think, but just didn't seem too interested. They may have a loose jack, and call that, but flat that. I mean, you could have been sitting there with the queen the whole time, but I assume that's not the case. If I can lull them into passivity, that is actually preferable to me. Heads up can be really volatile, and I prefer to bet in a way like min bets, very small bets, testing the waters. That seems to work a little better for me right now than I had a pair of aces raise. I mean, at a certain point, somebody's short stacked enough that, yeah, you're pretty much, push fold, but. Hmm. I got a bigger stack, but I mean, it's bottom pair, not that attached. Could try to draw a king or something, but a little more concerned about that turn if they had jack 10, something like that. This is kind of nice because I've got 2 pair. There's a flush draw, but if I drew another 6 or a 3, ooh, the king, that's rough. If they check, I'm just going to check this down. I'm a little nervous. They might have a loose king. They don't. I'll flat that. And over here, let's see how this is. Yeah, I'll flat that. I would like to see an 8, but I'll bet back at you. If you have an ace or queen, you're definitely going to at least call that or bet back at me. I could draw an 8 at the turn. That was an awfully scary hand for them. And small gains until I'm putting them all in. I'm okay with that, and I'm trying to get more comfortable playing after the flop. Could I bet the 9s? Yes, but it's awfully lucrative if you can flop it like that. I'm gonna flat here, and over here, I'm gonna bet half the pot, which is only 150. And if they weren't going to call 150, they weren't going to call like a major bet. This is not super good looking. Ass end of a straight, maybe. If I drew a 9. This is one of those, if they don't bet back, I'm probably just going to check here. What did I connect with and what does he think I have? The other table, this, not too awesome. This, I want to check again and draw a 5, which I did not get. That might have been a nice bet. This just didn't connect with anything at all, so I'm going to let that go. Check it down. I just check here. He at least had a 9. Now, if I'm got a slightly larger stack and I'm betting and he folds and I'm betting and he folds, I'm going to start leaning on him that way. I'm going to let this go. I could draw an 8 or even an ace, but I a little more concerned about that. I just didn't think that had the draw potential I wanted it to. He bet back at me and I just don't like this with my kicker. I may start betting 2 times the big blind with a range of hands against him and see how he responds with that. Some of this heads up play, I'm kind of like testing what I think they'll do in various positions. You know, do they think that the 2 times a big blind is a bluff or a semi bluff? Am I betting small pairs 2 times the big blind? But just completely passive is not super exciting to me. It's very frustrating to be short stacked and get beat up. I would very much like a 3. I got my 6, ace and a 10. I'll just check. Yeah, they were going for a flush. Other table, AA against KK. Aces took it down. Just check here. Not super exciting. Over here, I will fold. If I hit a 7 over here, that would be nice. I did not. I will check. If he checks here, I'm going to bet. Again, I'm just hoping to draw a 7, but he let it go. I'm usually real happy when they fold. Prevents me from having to go after the flop to a lot of weird decisions. Other table, 8 and a 9. King and a 3. You know, I don't have a lot that connects with this, but let me bet it out, see if he lets it go. If he pushes back against me on that board, that's particularly ugly. I mean, he could be on a flush draw, he could have a 3, he could have a king. I've connected with nothing, and how is he going to bet this? I don't have anything to fight back with. I think it's a bad idea to call that. You know, a lot of this trash, like, what do you do in these situations when you got a 9 and a 2? No, you have a better hand than him, but that I was going to put him in for if he was going to play. Now, let me think about this for a second. I'm going to fold here and I'm going to time bank it. What could he... Okay, I limp in 800 more chips. I mean, he could easily be on a flush draw or actually have ace 5. I'm just going to fold that. And that was a really rough turn because that would have given me probably the nuts. I don't know. I'm not sure if he actually had that or it's just like he's tired of playing around. That was a rough spot. I did not want to do that. And if I start raising, does he just fold? I'm still way ahead. I mean, my stack, it didn't hurt me much, that bet. But that was a rough spot. That's a 1 in 10 at that turn. I mean, it is possible to draw, but 1 in 10, I'm like, man, this isn't a woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like, I want to beat the guy. Certainly, if he had an ace, he would bet. That's the thing. We're pretty much right back where we started after that hand. Little fold equity on his side. Now let's bet a little bit. Let's see how he responds. And it's not because I think King 4 is great. It's just like, what is he thinking? And I'll flat that if you're going to play that way. I don't know. I mean, you could say it's a bad move. What do I do? Does he have it? I hate losing that way, but I don't know. I mean, tens? Yeah. I mean, what if I had jacks? plays well after the flop. Gonna have to start betting back at him. I've got to win my stack back. I've only got to win once to kind of get back where I was. If he would jam, I would call here. Yeah, let's just put him all in. Not sure. He might have it queens or higher. Oh, a lot of nothing over here. I need to double up. Not super excited. Give me just 1 second. And let's see, how is that 27 player coming along? Oh, we're not even close to starting that. I'm going to fold here. Not super excited about 2-5 offsuit. Queen 9, Queen 10, these are like drawing hands. I kind of like seeing flops with these. These are kind of nice. Let me bet back at him, see how he responds. Queen and a 7. Okay, so he limped. I bet 200. He says he's got it. I'm going to call. 9s and 10s, queen high. He could easily have the jack. Would I want to call again? He's got a stronger bet now. So I've got an open-ended straight draw. I'm going to let it go. I think he might likely have like king queen or something like that. I was a little more concerned about it. I mean, it was marginal, but I just didn't feel like it was a good spot for me to jam. Sometimes there are hands that I look at and I have a hard time figuring out what I think the other guy might be holding. This, I'll just put another 200 out, see how he responds. We're about level. I'd love to take this guy down. I'm having a hard time, like that queen hand. I have a hard time with that, trying to figure out what I think he might have been holding and how I may or may not have been ahead in that case. Let's just flat this, see if he'll let me catch a 6 and a 3. That's pretty nice. Could easily have a 5. Gonna bet just a little bit more. The 4 kind of sucked. I'm just gonna check here. Yeah, that's what I was concerned about. I was afraid of betting back into him if he drew that last 4. I'm a little confused by what he lets go. The 4s are, you know, what I kind of saw, but there's a lot of hands with him that I'm not quite certain. The queen, that bothered me. And sometimes I think it's harder to see because I'm inside it, so to speak. If I was looking at it from the outside, watching somebody else play, I'd have like a better idea. Oh, he's got this or he's got that. I'm going to bet back here. I think King Jack is worth the defend if he's going to keep doing that. Man, and these bets, I mean, what do I think he's holding? Because, I mean, he's almost putting me all in. And I don't particularly like that holding based on what's going on. I mean, he bet back heavy. Did he have the queen? That, or he could have had kings, something above. I don't like it, but I've got to push back at some point. Can he beat me? Yes. And I'd go from 450 to 270, but we still make money. So far, my sense is when those big bets roll out, he's got something. I'm not getting the sense that he's folding hands. He's letting stuff go, which to me is kind of saying that when he's betting heavy, he hit. Yeah, just a solid bet. It's a pair of sixes. I'm not excited about it, but he let it go. Now, again, look at the bet sizing. What is he saying? Because I didn't connect. I'm just min betting. You can look at it like I'm throwing away 300 chips, but his bet sizing says he's got it. Like he's not fucking around after the flop. All right, so what do you guys think? Limps in. I've got a jack. And again, the big bet sizing. Do I think I'm ahead? I'm gonna let it go. I don't feel comfortable with this, but I don't know what he had. Other table 2-4 suited. I just let that go. I will bet that if it comes around to me. My 9 feels like complete garbage at this moment. And that is not the card I was hoping for. I will flat this, probably gonna lose. Yeah, just king and a 4. I'm gonna start raising aggressively. Like, I don't have anything left to do. I've got a third of his stack at this point, and I can't seem to catch a hand to fight back against him with. We'll see what happens as this comes around to me. I'm just gonna put this in. If they want to call that, they can call over here. Fuck it, let's do it. You want to call? Got a flat over here. Queen and a 2. The guy lives in danger over there. Thank you, sir, for your donation to my cause. I appreciate that. Queen Jack, I will fold. And look at the bet sizing. I'm going to bet the pot. So at this stage, I feel like I'm almost push fold. I just can't make a hand stand up against him. And I don't really know what to do because I'm not catching top tier cards. Even when I had the jack high on the board, I was afraid that my kicker just wasn't strong enough. And what was I supposed to do? I feel deflated with that loss like that, taking second place. I just didn't know how to bet back against him. I just felt like I didn't have any defense for what was going on at all. I couldn't make a hand connect, and even the jacks, it was like I don't know if my jack is ahead. I'll flat that. Do not like this, by the way. This screams I have middle pair. Okay, well, if we're gonna fucking do this, let's just do it then. Ah, that's pretty nice. That other tournament, man, that just burns my ass up. He could have king 10 or king 9. I'm gonna flat this. I mean, Jack and a 4 didn't exactly beat my hand, but okay. That was a little bit easier than the other table. I didn't like that ace jack. It was so amazing to see that pay off because I've lost with stuff like that so many times. Now, if they had a queen, why wouldn't they bet back at me? I mean, they could have a pair of 5s. Okay, now they did actually. So I'm just gonna let this go. I don't want to keep throwing good chips after bad. They could have easily drawn a queen there. I was just hoping they would let it go out of. Oh, they did have me. I wouldn't let it go after my 2. I didn't know what was going on. I thought they were just fearless. I really don't like that re-raise, but I'm gonna flat this. And at this point, it's like I feel like my hand screams ace 10. Oh, okay, it's what they had too. So no wonder they weren't betting back heavy. Kind of suck losing my full house to a higher full house with a pair of aces, but these things happen. Okay, I'm not assuming you have a 3 or an 8. Not exactly sure what's going on. You're willing to bet out at it. Let's see another card there. My ace 4 did not connect in any way, shape, or form. I don't think ace high is hard enough, and especially after that bet, I am not calling. Really hated that second place, man. I really wanted to beat that guy, but man, I just felt like I couldn't get anything to hold up. Just no situation. And they played better heads up. I've had some people that are, to me, remarkably soft. No, all in there. Okay, well, you actually had something. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, this is about to get fucking ugly. What the fuck is going on? And yeah, it takes it with his 10s because he decided it was over. Man, I don't know how I feel about that. That is a particularly ugly jam there. I mean, we made the money here, but that was particularly just like, really? I don't feel good about losing that way to trip 10s, especially that kind of aggression, but we'll see what happens. We know how they'll play pairs. Yeah, those tens, man, that was ugly. And we are heads up, and it is time to demolish this guy. Let's do this. He's been aggressive. I mean, the way he jammed that pair of tens. I think this is the stage where I've really got to bet back, against him when I've got it. A degree of fearlessness. This kind of player can just run me the fuck over at a table. And that's where I've been experimenting more with what I think of as aggressive play. It's like hard to figure out what to play in what position. I assume he is ahead. I just don't have a hand. It did not connect. I was waiting to see if I could catch something else. Now, let me check this again, just so I can refresh my memory. I jammed Jack. He called with 7-10 suited. That's what he'll call a jam with. Statistically, I don't know how that holds up, but it emboldens me a bit, let's say that. I mean, okay, so why not call with ace-8 offsuit? Not that my ace-3 was much better. Might connect to some straights. That's a whole lot of rapid, rapid, rapid. Now, let me check this again, folks, because this is where I get so confused. Jack and a 4? Like, okay, I mean, it's fine. I'm not calling you here. I'm happy that I won that. Like, I'm way ahead. I just have to lean on him a little bit. But, I mean, come on, man. I don't understand that. I'm happy. Like, again, I want to take first place. I took second on the other one. It was annoying. I'm calling this. It doesn't matter if you have aces. I just don't understand. 10-7 and like Jack 4 suited. I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense to me at all. I think that's plenty strong enough with his range. It's going all in. Straight draw, flush draw. And he still took it. But stack that small. It's just how it is. Don't give a shit about your ace. It doesn't impress me at this stage. My stack is too big. So he will jam Jack 4 suited. Can I call with Jack 8 suited? No, he draws a 6 and a 9. Oops, didn't work out. And that was pretty goddamn nice. That was a much better outcome than the other tournament. I think I'm going to go ahead and enroll in a new 9-player tournament. I still got a kind of a second wind there. Going to minimize this. I'll be right back. Not super excited with this, but I opened up the table and then found myself with ace jack on the button. The blinds are still really small. I was trying to narrow the field. I hit a big air ball. In other words, I was trying to get some other players out of the hand to figure out where the hell I was. I don't know if I'm super excited about what I'm seeing here. I don't know what's going on. I didn't hit anything. I put some chips in the middle, but I just don't want to keep going with that. I don't know what they could be holding. The players are often really, really loose when it just gets started. I was willing to put it in initially, but like, okay, so I've hit a jack high flush. Who has the queen or the king? Not a good situation for me. Not super excited. Was nice to second place, first place. You know, it's those sorts of things. Like there's not a lot of glory in a 9-player tournament, but it's like you turn a dollar into four, you turn a dollar into 270. If you win consistently, it makes it a lot easier. The dive at the $2 table with the aces sucks, but I mean, just the other part of like me just having ace jack, they just love to gamble. They love going in with 5 other players and seeing who gets lucky, making judgments about whether I'm ahead. I have a tendency, because they're so loose, it's like I don't believe them when they bet. They re-raise. I'm like, they don't have it. I always think that in my head, but when it comes down to it, how often do they actually have it? Well, sometimes they do. This is a good drawing hand. I'll flat this if they'll let me in. Let's see. Flip over to the other table. If it will let me. Will it let me? Maybe. Maybe not. There's an ace on board. I'm not super excited about that for that reason. I flatted a 2 and a 6 on the other. Let's see if I can get this set up here. There we go. Let's check that. Let me resize a little bit. Still got a 27 player that I could wind up in if it fills at any point. We'll see how it goes. I remind myself, even when I like, man, God, it took a second, or I lost with aces. It's part of the game. I'm really in this for the long haul. I really want to work at this for years to come and see how much better I can make my game. Time to get a fizzy. Is there a reason I don't like regular grapefruit, but I like grapefruit fizzy? Anybody figured that out? I had this phrase running through my head about, putting in the work. And it's really for me about mastery. self-mastery. It's a big part of the game. I think that fundamentally, it's not that I value work for its own sake. You dig a ditch. Well, you dig a ditch with a hand trowel or you dig a ditch with a bobcat. You know, you're still getting the work done. I don't value the manual labor component of like putting in the work. Ain't nothing wrong with a hard day's work. That's not it. I think to get good at it, you have to practice and you have to play regularly. And when I say play, I mean that in a mirth, fun sort of, sensibility. Well, I took a second. Well, you took 270 out of your $1.10 investment. Like, you lost a couple hands and you couldn't seem to catch anything, and the guy played better than you did. So get better. In other words, pattern recognition and learn. Improve your game. There's something of value in the pursuit of greatness. Good chess players, they put time in, practice in. Same thing with poker. It's a skill game to me. There's a statistical analysis. A guy can draw whatever and get lucky, but there's a reason good players are good players. He's got the king. I'm a little concerned about this. I'm going to check here. The other table, let's see what's going on. I'm going to fold there. I'm not interested. At this table, I'm not sure. I'm afraid he has the king. That's a little over half the pot. He could also have ace 10, though I find it unlikely. I would rather wait until I have a better situation. I just didn't feel happy with that. And it's one of those like, okay, should I have jammed all in? Would it have produced a better outcome? Post flop, I'm not sure how I should have played that differently. I assumed I was beat, but it was only 30 chips. That ace queen, should I have just flatted that? I don't know. That's a good question. Why did I not flat that? I'm not sure. I don't know what else was going on at the table at the time. I let that go. They bet 200 on the button. And if I remember correctly, the guy who was so aggressive who capped me with the pair of tens, he was the one I took out. He was the one I beat, I think, in the end. I didn't think about that. That actually gives me a little bit of a consolation, kind of a good feeling if that is in fact the case. Hey, this other table, they trip queens. Oh, quads. That sometimes wins. I bet a lot of half pots. Do not like the ace. They have a much bigger stack, much more capacity to flat an ace in this situation. Yeah. Let's think about it for a second. So if a king or a 10 falls, the problem is there's no flush draws. They could have two pair. They could have a lot of. I don't think my king 10 is going to give me an idea of whether I'm ahead at that point. Though we know they weren't betting on the ace to begin with. A queen fell at the river, by the way. It would have been a complete air ball. I don't know what they had, but I assumed it was probably beating whatever I was holding. Come on in, community pot. I'm getting better at judging situations. In fact, I'd like to go back and watch this and see if, in fact, that guy it took out, if he's the one who jammed those tens. That was a really annoying hand. Though I was real happy with that ace jack that held up. I don't remember the last time I jammed ace jack and wound up taking two or three people out with it. I'm really surprised at some of the holdings I see people having and betting aggressively with, calling shoves. That jack 4 suited, jack 7 suited, I don't understand that. That's when I got nothing left. When those are my only options. Flat call in position. I'm going to check. There's too many holdings. He could have a pair of sixes or higher. I didn't connect with the board. If I got two more hearts, I could have a nut flush. But is he going to bet back with this? Our stack size is about the same. I've hit absolutely nothing. They didn't play back at me. Okay, well, let's do something wild and crazy like min bet. Who knows, folks? You saw it here first. What the fuck is going on at this table? The world may never know. You got the nerve to call, but you don't bet anything ever? Okay, well, I mean, you could easily bet me off of that. How do I feel about Queen 8 on the button, suited? Oh, fuck it, why not? Let's gamble. You gonna let me in? Nope, you will not. You'll make me pay to play. I will fold. Not interested. Getting involved in your kerfluffle. Gut shot to the 6. Could draw a jack. I'd prefer to just check this down. For 100, I'll probably call this if there's no... That would be a fold. Get the fuck away. Over here, this is more interesting. Let's see what happens here. We got a flat call. I could easily go out here. They could have anything. I'm going to fold there. Let's go back to our kings and see what it looks like. We have a fold. I took a pot. Why not? Josh was over earlier. Josh Cherry, you can find him on TikTok. We did some contrast baths. Super cold. I was telling him I have a hard time doing the contrast baths, so we're getting in the pool. It's super cold. It's got to be 50 degrees at least. And then interspersing between that and the hot tub, doing some Wim Hof breathing, some other stuff earlier. My joints feel real good at the moment. I have a harder time doing the contrast baths alone because Josh and I spend so much time laughing at each other at our responses because it's so, uncomfortable. If it's just me, I just focus on the fact that it's uncomfortable. It's much more difficult for me to do alone. Biet, biet, biet. Just check it down. I don't know what's going on. He got a 7. He had my other 5. He blocked me. I need to double up badly there. I will bet this in early position. And I will be also somewhat cautious. Now what? We had a flat call in late position on an 8-3 board, 8-4-3 rainbow board. And they bet 3/4 of the pot, just about. Somewhere in there. Eh. I mean, you know, they say they got it. Who knows what they got? Another 8 fell. They could have had it. Even if they just had their 8. And this is a sort of hand I don't mind playing if I get in cheaply. I don't like the fact that the 3,800 stack raised it up. I would have been happy to have seen a flop with that, but there are hands. I think earlier I mentioned that Queen 9 or whatever. I was like very confused. Sometimes the texture of the board, I think again because I'm inside the game, it's harder for me to think what could they be holding and to do it rapidly. I think that Lex has done it for so long. He's a much better read of what the potential holdings could be. Put him on a range. But over here, we got to double up real fast. We're getting, if that folds to me, I'm likely going to jam. I don't love it. Through from a limper, I would jam as well. I might easily go out here, but I got to double up. Fold. Do I get a call? Yes, I do. And he got his king. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, sir. Thank you for the contribution to my cause. I'm glad that my 7's held up. That is an unfortunate situation for you, but thank you for your contribution. I thought for sure I was done. I was going to fold, but why not limp? What is the danger? And the big stack tolerates it. It's a good draw heavy board. Now I do not like this. I don't know what is going on right there. Here I am going to bet this. Not super excited about my 10s. It can be challenging. If I hit another 10, it's glorious, but how often does it happen? This is one where, depending on the flop, this is easy for me to let go, but I'd rather bet it than just, you know, limp in this position, I guess. The other table, that ace 2, I would have had a 2 at the river, but it's like just, this is such a draw heavy board. The turn being an 8, man, somebody could have queen jack. Oof. There's a little move there, and there we go. I will not put up a fight with a 2-5 offsuit. I'm gonna flat out of position. This is a good spot if a 9 hit. It would be kind of hard to see, I think. A 9 did hit, and I could potentially go out right here. Okay. And who knows what he had, but I was worried about the flush draw. That would have been a positive improvement on my hand. I would not have been worried about the flush draw at that point. And this, if I'd have caught this, you know, you're open-ended, you have a 1 in 5 chance at the turn, a 1 in 5 chance at the river to draw something. If they're on a flush draw, that's problematic. And do I screw up? Oh God, constantly. God, I take dives with hands that I probably shouldn't even be anywhere near, because I'm trying to figure out how to play a little bit more loose. The problem with these tournaments is if you play tight, you're going to get run over. Like, you're going to have tire tracks. Like, these tournaments are not, excuse me, not structured for like tight players at all. I'm gonna play tight. I'm like, are you sure? Let's check this. I mean, what, the 5? Okay, well, I'll check. Nice. Thank you for your donation to my cause. Oh, I could draw a 10. Well, I mean, yeah, but 8-9 is also something that I play regularly. If it's now you got a jack. Okay, are you ahead? No, he's got king jack. I don't know. Those sorts of hands can be really, really challenging. I think the ace is worth a flat here. Like, on this board, would queen jack be ahead? I might call a 200 bet at the river like that with queen jack. I probably would not be calling that. The other table, I'm gonna fold this. What's going on here? What is going on? Ah, pair of 9s. He had a monster that was hidden. Good drawing hand. I don't like his bet in first position. Otherwise, I would have limped into that debacle. it folds around, I'm likely going to bet this. But let's see here. So I limped. Let's call that. Over here, I think, let's just flat this. Just going to flat this again. Oof. This other table is about to fucking blow up. This is a rainbow board. I'm gonna flat that. The queen 10, I'm not quite as certain about at this point. I'm gonna flat here. I'm not super happy with that, but I'm a little confused. I'll just check. Oh, okay. I had no idea what was going on. This is problematic, man. That king at the river, I'm gonna put it in because I'm involved. I don't think they have queen jack, but let's see. That other hand, I wasn't sure, and it's like I think he was just playing with just that weak 8. He just assumed that I had not hit at all. I was a little frazzled because I was on 2 different tables. Because I limped in, he bet, I flatted, hit the 10, he bet 100. He kept the betting small. He did not draw a 6. There was a flush draw, and yeah, his ace-7 just didn't connect. Like he couldn't let it go. Very happy with this outcome. This was super nice to get it, build a little stack here after being short earlier. But again, I look at that and like I can't get that read that I want. I want to be able to go, I think he's got a weak ace, but I just don't have the skill set yet to be able to think like my opponent sometimes. And it's the big me. Oh yeah. And we're back on our screen. Uh-oh, got a jam. Uh-oh. Ooh. The trips. Every time I hit trips, there's that like post flop bet, and I usually flat it. I don't want to re-raise because I don't want to show strength. I want them to keep betting into it with me being that far ahead, usually. I'll see a flop with this. This is not my favorite hand to play. I don't assume I'm ahead. I'm not going to bet my 3. If it comes around to me, I'll let him see a flop with us. This is a good draw. Who knows what hand? 300. Half a pot? No. Even my 9 kicker, not super excited about. If you come on in, it sweetens it even more because it's 400. I would like an ace high flush draw, bet. It's not bad for my hand. I think I'm just gonna min bet. That can be a little frustrating for the other players if they didn't hit very well. In the big blind, it's the most questionable holdings because I could have anything. I mean, they limped in, right? The flush draw, I'm not super excited about. I'm just going to min bet again. They both just checked. This could be a problem. More concerned about the big stack there. If he checks, I will check, and that is what will happen. And I took it. Here, I'm about to bet for sure. If he wants to get involved, that's fine. Okay, I will bet here, the standard. Other table, not happy with this. Let that go. And with this here, let's see what happens. I'm a little concerned about the flush draw, maybe. He could have a K. You know, the other hand, the king. What was the point of like betting back at the river? My concern is if I bet back at him, does he jam some marginal hand? And I'm worried he's got a slightly stronger king. That would have been nice to have seen. We're an open-ended there. Other table, I had garbage on the board. Over here, I was going to limp, but they bet. I'm going to fold that. Not interested. My kicker is not very strong. Oh, man, come on, dude. Fuck. I'm going to let it go. I think to a bet of that size, that screaming queens are higher. I just don't think I almost wanted to call there, but I just think, yeah. And I was kind of hoping that guy would bust him with his flush. But yeah, that just screamed that he had something. The jam in particular. And here's the funny thing to me. I don't know, like I have mixed feelings. Could he have gotten way more chips? Did he lose chips because he jammed it that way? And my likely assumption is he was afraid. Okay, I bet they call from the small blind. They could have any pair. They could have like I timed out, but I let it go. I wasn't planning on necessarily letting it go, though I did. I was trying to figure out what they might be holding since they called my bet. But did they lose, chips? Like, did they not get more fold? Yeah, they took what I bet initially, but they probably could have gotten me to play that and then lose a much more sizable chip stack if, I had even remotely connected. I'll check that. And I think probably there was more fear from them about me catching a king or an ace, which I did have. Okay, I'm going to fold here, and then over here, I'm going to put this in. He wants to call. Yeah. Sometimes your ace holds up. I thought that was totally worth the play, though. Did not have queens that time. It's heating up. We're getting close to the bubble here. The stack to my left, unfortunately, I gave him a bunch of chips. Oof. A little bit of aggression there. Not interested in 2-9. Thought the eights. I mean, sometimes it happens. How was I going to play it? I got a pair. Queens over sixes. You are way outgunned. And we made a small donation. I'm not going to fight you with my 2 and my 5. I would like you to call for 100 though, sir. That is not gentlemanly of you, but okay. And the guy did not bubble because, well, you're a jerk. Oh, come on, motherfucker. Good God. You fucking people. I mean, yeah, you had a pair of kings, but I mean, come on. Okay, I'm just going to bet here. Don't love this, but nothing on this board going on. I mean, the jam, in other words, if they have queens or higher, it's just all in. Like, there is no. All right, everything I've seen from them is, pretty solid. I would go out in third here. I think it'd be better to conserve the 17-20. They're jamming all in. There's no wiggle room after the flop. They're going to pressure me in a corner like that. I've just got to pick a hand and jam on them. Though if they're going to bet like that, the other stack is also going to be hurting pretty quickly if he doesn't call. I will fold and get out of the way. And that's how we take second place. We are not done yet. I think against their range, this is likely enough. And if I take second place, I take second place. But I got to double up fast. And they are not likely going to be playing after the flop. That is not the sensibility I get from them at all. If they jam this, I'll call. Now, why you jammed a 9 and a 4 is unknown to me, but that's great. I will let that go. Don't know what's going on. If you'd like to jam that all in, I will, in fact, fold. You will get your 200 chips. But let's see what happens here. Not strong enough. I'm not going to be able to pay after the flop. They're going to be real heavy-handed. That is not a super interesting hand. Over here with an 8 and a 3. Did they fold? I think they did. They let it go to me. Wow, interesting. I only need to double up once or twice more. Man, come on, you got to give me something. 7 and a 9. Not super interested. Go over here. 6 and a 4. Come on, man. No, not going to call with it. But this is definitely push fold. There's no after the flop play here. But that's strong enough with his range. We're going to take second if we lose, but, just how it is. Nothing there. Let's go back over here again. I think that's strong enough. Yeah, we were close, but no cigar. I made 270 on that one. They had a huge stack. That didn't bother me too much. That was a marginal. But I flopped 2 pair and they got it straight. Well, he had 9 times your chips. He could afford to gamble. It's going to be easier to focus on this board now. Little wins. It's not massive, but 270, you made profit. I think this will be it for the night. I got out of that 27 player. It was just not filling up at all. And based on where I'm at right now, I'm basically level to where I started today, which means I lost some and won. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean about the small wins. It's like, yeah, I prefer first place, but you know, sometimes the cards just don't work out. Oh yeah. Oh, but sneeze. I caught it. I saved you. You know, part of me wants to flat this, but they have such a small stack. The fact that I'm not even suited, just, man, King 9 is rough. A little more interesting. That was also why I was conserving chips. I was hoping I could pick up a hand like that. Now, do I get pre-flop action? Because if I get pre-flop action, we have a different set of issues. Man, okay, third of his stack. Like hate, even though I'm in position, even though I'm late position, calling with ace 10 offsuit, it's like it's so hard because they could have ace jack, ace queen, ace king. There's so many other ace combinations, even running into like ace 5 or lower where there's potential straight draws. It's very difficult to play that confidently, not assuming that they've also, you know, picked up a stronger ace than you. Stack size is okay. Would love to double and lean on the other players, but we'll see how it goes. Feels weird to grind and wind up right back where you are or where you were. It's like I lost $10. I made $10. I'm right back where I started. But it's better than taking, you know, constant losses. When I took that dive to aces on the 27 player. Okay, I am going to bet here. I'm not super excited about this. I'm worried about calls or re-raises with higher aces. But that is acceptable to me. If there's anything I don't like more than ace 10, it's ace 9, particularly when it's not suited. Thank you for letting that go, sir. I don't have to make any decisions. My anxiety is completely kept in check when you fold to me. That I will play. Now, a raise, particularly a jam, probably bets. So there's been no action. I'm just going to standard bet this. The dynamics of different boards. I took a dive. I think I talked about it, but man, this guy was like a holy fucking terror. Like I don't know who this was. I need to play against him regularly so I can learn how to defend. Because good God, it was like every other hand they were all in four-handed. I was like, I was top stack and busted out like bubbled because of him. I was like, good God, what the like. I had to stand up eventually, and it's like eventually he had done it so much I thought my nines were good. Took me out with a pair of queens. It's like he was just super aggressive. Super aggressive. With these stack sizes being so comparable to mine, I feel more uncomfortable limping with that. That 10 is rough. Tens are just connected to so many other hands. If you guys will hold off on the aggression, I will try to beat you with 2-6 offsuit. If you will all limp into me and let me catch a monster. I will not be calling with that. Blessings to you, sir. Enjoy yourself. The blinds are at 300, so it's getting a little tighter. Man, this guy over here is just tearing up the board. He's all over the place. And I look at this and go, okay, somebody's on a flush draw. Somebody could have hit a 7. Somebody just got trips. Somebody could be on a straight draw, 8 and a 9. They made a small move at the pot. And I think that was probably more of a bluff about the flush than anything else. And this is a problem. Everybody's about the same size. And they're going to be betting into each other. This is going to be brutal, probably bloody. Poker, the game of champions. Grind, grind, grind. I love sitting down and just grinding out for hours sometimes. I almost misclicked. Not sure. That's like if I'm sitting here like, what did they have? I don't know. I have no idea. Two times the big blind, first position, caller in late position, no real action until the turn, and then somebody jams it. Not sure. Don't know at all. I have noticed I've got aces, and this is what we saw earlier when I busted out. I've got aces. I bet the other guy flats. The flop comes. I bet with my aces, half pot. He doubles the bet, and I'm like, okay, he may have it. I don't know. I got a pair of aces, and I lost. In the future, when I see that two times the bet, I think I'm gonna have to think long and hard and let it go. I hate it, but I feel like the skill level of the players here, it's probably more lucrative for them to just flat and not give me any information, but they want more value out of their trips. And it's like, are my aces good? Knowing when I'm beat. That two times the bet, it's also a manifestation of how the buttons work. I bet half the pot all the time because the buttons are set up to make that easy. That is a nice bet, sir. I do not know if you're beating my 3-6 suited. However, I will not be calling you. If you guys want to come on in, just wipe him out. Like, just help yourself. That'll do it. I'm not calling. And number 6 has been super aggressive. And did take it. One closer to the money. Though this player in particular, he's been pretty good. Like, I gotta watch this guy. I don't like being in his big blind, but oh well. Such is life. Now we're at 4 big blinds for 4 of the stacks. 4 or 5. This is going to get the pusher fold real fast. Number 6 there is in great position to have such a large chip stack, though I don't see their play as being completely loose. They're just making solid bets, having solid hands. I don't like it, but if that folds to me, I think that's enough for a jam. We have 3, almost 4 big blinds left. I would take a major dent out of someone if they call and lose with this. I'm worried about number 6 because he can definitely take the hit. But that's a good situation for me. Now I'd like a pair of aces so I can do it again. That is not the aces I requested. And here we go. Jam, call, fold. Number 9 is in trouble. Unlike previous tables, I do not think Jack 4 is a good hand. Ooh, okay. If number 5 folds, do I think 700 chips on that is good enough? I think it's really marginal. I think I'd rather just let this go. I could have queen 9. That'd be slightly ahead. Same thing with Jack 2. I wanted to call, you know, just based on the math. If it had just a little bit less, I probably would have. Let's see, how do I feel about, well, I don't feel about the shit about that. Not after that guy's bet. I'm not getting anywhere near him with king 9. Though I would like you to call and lose. See, we're almost right back in the same position. The blinds are so big. Number 5 and number 9 are in really tough spots. They're going to have to double up just like me. Number 1 there is probably going to try to avoid conflict with number 6, but the 2 times the big blind is interesting. He could really have like a pair of aces here and be afraid of scaring number 6 off when he wants to crack him one. One third of the pot. I don't know what that means. That's plenty strong enough. So let it be written, so let it be done. Gets me through another round of blinds. Love to pick up a high pair. No, that is not the hand I want to defend. Oh, if you limp in, I'll see it, but and that is a fold. Not interested, sir. One solid double up would help. This should be interesting. I suspect he's actually number 5 has something solid. Well, I say that. I didn't realize that was the rest of his stack. Interesting. Rip. Oh, well. 4-handed. Yeah. Still, it's kind of rough. The blinds come around faster. Hopefully somebody calls and takes number 5 out, one closer to the money. I'm sure you can see why I folded my 7-2. I was not happy with the potential outcome. And I'm short, but I can still take a dent out of them. you get less than 1,000 chips, you're getting into extreme danger. It's just not, there's no wiggle room. It's push fold. I would love to see number 9 get crushed somehow, so I at least make the money on this, but see how it goes. See what happens. I don't, if number 6 bets this, I don't know if this is strong enough. And I really don't like number 9's bet. That pretty much seals the decision for me, but I don't know what could be going on there. Number 6 could have any pair almost. I mean, yeah. Oof. Well, your quad's held up. And now I'm in a bad spot. I'm gonna bubble super fast unless I double up. I figured the big stack could have something inordinately weak, and they did. But a pair of 3s with that stack size. Though I can't say I blame them for playing ace-9 in this situation. Man, God, it's just so weak. Nothing. Unless something goes awry, I'm gonna want it bubbling on this. It sucks. Excuse me. I hate it, but I mean 9-2. Come on now. In the big blind, what do I get? Oh, that's good. I'll play that. Whatever happens, it's going in, guys. Live in fear. And let's see what happens. We get a flat here. I'm gonna call. It's a lot of fold equity there if he lets it go. Who knows what number 6 has? They could have a small pair. Queens isn't bad. But couldn't fold ace queen. I bubbled. You guys have a good night. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you had a good time. Had a good time playing. It was a good night. And I'll see you again soon.